In the glamorous yet turbulent world of Chinese entertainment, Xiao Zhan has always stood out as a beacon of grace, humility, and quiet strength. His journey from an ordinary young man with dreams of art and design to one of the most celebrated stars in Asia feels almost cinematic. Yet behind the red carpets, flashing cameras, and roaring fan chants lies a world few truly know. The intricate and deeply layered family dynamics that shaped him into the man the world adores today. The story of Xiao Zhan's family is not just about support and love. It's about unspoken sacrifices, generational struggles, whispered conflicts, and the delicate balance between tradition and individuality. His ties are complex, tender, and sometimes heavy with responsibility. To truly understand Xiao Zhan, one must step away from the blinding stage lights and walk into the dimly lit corridors of his private world. It all begins in the heart of Chongqing, a city wrapped in mist and steeped in culture. This bustling metropolis, famous for its spicy hot pot and rugged mountains, is where Xiao Zhan grew up, nurtured by the strong values of a traditional family. His parents, often described as protective yet progressive, gave him both freedom and boundaries, a rare balance in a society where children are often molded strictly by parental expectations. But Xiao Zhan's path was never straightforward. As a child, he showed a natural gift for the arts, sketching, singing, even dabbling in calligraphy. His parents encouraged this, yet they also carried quiet fears. Like many families of their generation, they worried, could art ever bring stability? Could creativity protect their son from the harsh winds of reality? And so began the first tug-of-war in Xiao Zhan's life, a struggle between pursuing his passion and respecting the traditional expectations of security and success. The deeper layers of his family ties reveal more than just parental guidance. There were grandparents whose voices carried authority, whose expectations weighed heavily. Stories of their influence on Xiao Zhan whisper of moments where he felt torn between honoring their wishes and chasing the call of his own dreams. These were not moments of rebellion, but of negotiation, a young man trying to balance filial piety with self-identity. What makes Xiao Zhan's story so captivating is not only his rise in fame, but the invisible web of family sacrifice that made it possible. During his college years, when he leaned heavily into design and art, his parents quietly adjusted their own lives to support him. Friends close to the family recount how his father worked longer hours, his mother cut down on personal expenses, all to ensure their son had the resources to explore his path. To Xiao Zhan, every award he has received, every applause he's heard, carries not just his own effort but the invisible fingerprints of his family's sacrifices. Yet, not all ties were smooth. Fame often has a way of unsettling the most balanced households, and Xiao Zhan's meteoric rise was no exception. When his name started appearing in headlines, when fans camped outside, and when controversies brewed on social media, his family was inevitably dragged into the public eye. Some relatives questioned the toll this fame might take, while others stood firmly as his shield. Within those private walls, discussions grew heated at times. Should he step back? Should he continue? Should he risk the fragile privacy that was slipping through their hands? The most striking scenes in this family dynamic play out in silence. Imagine Xiao Zhan coming home after a grueling schedule, the warmth of his family home pulling him in. His mother sets out a bowl of his favorite Chongqing noodles. His father offers quiet advice. And yet, between them lies an unspoken truth. Their son is no longer fully theirs. He belongs to the world now. The dinner table, once a place of ordinary conversation, becomes a battlefield of emotions where love, pride, fear, and longing all collide. But perhaps the most powerful aspect of Xiao Zhan's family ties is the unwavering trust they have in him. Even when storms like the 227 incident threatened to crush his career, his family stood firm. Insiders say his parents became his anchor, reminding him that fame is fleeting but character endures. His grandparents, though shaken, were said to have told him that hardships build resilience, that their family had survived worse, and so would he. Those words, rooted in tradition and history, gave Xiao Zhan the courage to rise again. There are also the quieter, tender ties that reveal his softer side. His bond with his younger relatives, cousins, perhaps even nieces or nephews, is said to be deeply affectionate. He has often been spotted at family gatherings, laughing freely, playing games with children, shedding the weight of stardom. In these moments, Xiao Zhan is not an idol, not a celebrity. He is just Gij, the older brother, the dependable figure who brings joy. This complexity, being both a global icon and a simple son of a close-knit family, is what makes Xiao Zhan's ties so fascinating. He is constantly balancing dual identities, the public figure shaped by the entertainment industry and the private man shaped by his family's values. And sometimes, those identities clash. Take, for instance, the tension between traditional expectations of marriage and his demanding career. In many Chinese families, the pressure to settle down is immense. And for someone like Xiao Zhan, whose every move is scrutinized, those conversations become even more layered. Insiders whisper of family discussions about his future, his happiness, and whether he will one day prioritize love and family over fame. These moments are not dramatic confrontations but gentle nudges, subtle reminders that even stars are still sons. And then there is the question of legacy. Xiao Zhan's rise has not only brought fame to himself, but also a kind of halo to his family. Suddenly, distant relatives and old acquaintances feel a sense of pride, claiming ties with him. For his parents, this pride is mingled with caution. Fame can elevate, but it can also expose. Protecting the family name, shielding their privacy, and ensuring their son's reputation remains untarnished have become quiet battles fought in the background. One of the most cinematic scenes in his family story unfolded during his early days of stardom. Picture a small living room in Chongqing, his family gathered around a television, watching him appear on screen. The pride in their eyes, the tears of his mother, the silent nod of his father. It was a moment of triumph shared not by one, but by all. Yet, in the very same room, as the cameras flashed, there was also the heavy awareness that this triumph came with invisible chains, the loss of anonymity, the vulnerability of public life. What makes Xiao Zhan's family ties so extraordinary is their universality wrapped in uniqueness. Many young people can relate to the push and pull between parental expectations and personal dreams, between tradition and individuality. But in Xiao Zhan's case, these struggles are amplified by the spotlight of fame. Every family disagreement, every sacrifice, every private moment risks being magnified, misinterpreted, or exposed. And yet, through it all, one truth shines brightly. Xiao Zhan's family is his foundation. They are the reason he remains grounded, the reason his humility feels genuine, and the reason his resilience seems unbreakable. Behind his polished image and unwavering smile are ties woven with love, sacrifice, complexity, and quiet strength. For fans who see him only through music videos, dramas, or fan meets, it's easy to forget the world he returns to when the lights go out. But perhaps that's where the true magic of Xiao Zhan lies, not in his public persona, but in the private ties that continue to shape him. His family dynamics may be complex, but they are also the compass that guides him, the anchor that steadies him, and the invisible force that propels him forward. And so, when you see Xiao Zhan standing tall on stage, remember this: every smile carries the echo of his family's support, every performance bears the weight of their sacrifices, and every triumph belongs not just to him but to the entire family who helped him get there. His story is not one of an individual rising alone. It is a story of ties, tangled yet unbreakable, that hold him up even when the world tries to pull him down. If you found this journey into Xiao Zhan's hidden world fascinating, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to stay tuned for more stories that take you behind the glittering curtain of stardom. The story of Xiao Zhan's family dynamics feels like a drama of its own, led with tenderness, quiet struggles, and moments so moving they could bring even the strongest person to tears. If the first glimpse revealed the foundation of his ties, then diving deeper uncovers the unspoken emotions, the breathtaking sacrifices, and the unforgettable scenes that shaped him into the man who captures millions of hearts today. Picture Xiao Zhan as a young boy, sketchbook in hand, sitting near the window of his Chongqing home. The sunlight filters in through lace curtains as his mother watches from the kitchen, her face a mix of pride and worry. She knows her son has a gift. His drawings come alive. His voice is soft yet powerful when he sings. But she also knows the world beyond their home is not always kind to dreamers. In her eyes, we see the eternal conflict of a mother. Should she protect him by guiding him to stability, or should she set him free to soar, even if the skies are stormy? This silent tension often plays out in subtle ways. During family dinners, his father might drop small comments. "John, have you thought about practical careers? Maybe architecture, maybe business." Yet, hidden in his words is not disapproval but fear. Fear of a world that could crush his son's spirit. Xiao Zhan, respectful and gentle, would simply smile, nodding as though he would consider it. But deep in his heart, the fire for art never went out. One unforgettable scene is said to have unfolded during Xiao Zhan's college years. His parents had come to see one of his small performances. The stage was humble, the lights dim, but the moment he opened his mouth to sing, something magical filled the room. His mother's eyes welled with tears. She leaned toward his father and whispered, "He was born for this." That night marked a turning point, not only for Xiao Zhan but for his family, who began to understand that his destiny was not in the safe paths they imagined, but in the uncertain brilliance of the stage. Yet, even as they accepted his path, new layers of family complexity emerged. Fame, after all, does not only belong to the one who earns it. It trickles down to everyone connected: parents, grandparents, cousins, even distant relatives. Suddenly, Xiao Zhan's family found themselves in the strange position of being proud yet protective. Imagine his father at work, colleagues praising his son, some asking for autographs or favors. On the surface, he smiled, but deep inside, he worried about their privacy being chipped away piece by piece. There were moments of conflict too, gentle but undeniable. Relatives, influenced by traditional beliefs, would sometimes question whether Xiao Zhan should settle down early, reminding him that family legacy is important. For a man whose career consumes him, this becomes a subtle tug-of-war. Xiao Zhan listens respectfully, because in Chinese culture filial piety runs deep. But his eyes, filled with quiet determination, tell another story. His time will come, but not yet. The stage still calls louder than the whispers of tradition. Another deeply moving scene can be imagined after the storm of the 227 incident, when Xiao Zhan faced one of the darkest times in his career. The world outside hurled accusations, but within the walls of his family home, there was only love. Insiders recall that his father, usually a man of few words, placed a hand on his son's shoulder and said, "No matter what happens, you are our pride." His mother, unable to hide her emotions, cooked his favorite meals, filling the home with warmth as though to shield him from the cold winds outside. It was not grand gestures, but these simple, ordinary acts of love that kept Xiao Zhan standing. The beauty of his family dynamic lies in these contrasts: the public chaos versus the private calm, the pressure of expectations versus the freedom of acceptance. Each thread woven into his life tells of a man who is never alone, even when he feels the weight of the world. Think of the evenings when Xiao Zhan returns home quietly, away from the noise of flashing cameras. He sits at the dinner table with his parents. His mother pours him soup, his father asks if he is tired, and for a fleeting moment, time stops. He is not Xiao Zhan the superstar. He is simply their son. The room fills with laughter over small stories, gentle teasing, and the comfort of familiarity. These are the moments that ground him, the invisible anchor that fans may never see but can always feel in his warmth on stage. And then there are his grandparents, who carry wisdom from a different era. Their influence shaped his respectfulness, his humility, his ability to remain calm amidst chaos. Once, when asked about hardships, Xiao Zhan hinted at the strength he draws from them. They remind him of perseverance, of patience, of carrying one's burdens with quiet dignity. That generational wisdom is part of what makes him so admired, not just a star, but a man of substance. What is perhaps most striking is how Xiao Zhan's family embodies unity despite differences. They may not always agree on his choices. They may worry. They may argue gently behind closed doors. But when the world outside questions him, they stand as one. Their love is not loud, not displayed in headlines, but deeply rooted, unshakable, and profoundly moving. This is why Xiao Zhan remains who he is today. Humble, grounded, and resilient. His family dynamics are not just about ties of blood, but about the invisible threads of sacrifice, tradition, and unconditional love. They may be complex, sometimes conflicting, but they form the foundation of a man who continues to inspire millions. And so, when fans cheer for Xiao Zhan, they are also, without realizing it, cheering for the family that made him who he is. For the mother who encouraged him, the father who protected him, the grandparents who guided him, and the quiet home that still waits for him after every storm. If you enjoyed this deep look into Xiao Zhan's world, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss the next powerful story waiting to unfold.